Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. As we know, functions play an important role in mathematical applications to economics, physics, engineering, biology, and etc. In this video, we will discuss about that. When you look at your bank account, maybe you will have your some number in there, and when you see, sometimes you will get an interest. So how to count the interest? You have to deal with a function. And maybe one more, a little bit more complicated. For example, in real life, when you pay your tax, usually, maybe income tax. Then if you have lower income, then you have to pay lower tax also. And mid income, you have to pay usually, maybe around 10% or something like that. And higher income, now as long as I know, around 30%, but I don't know exactly. But if you see something like this, that means when you try to make some criteria, then you can have exactly one functions, but we can see this one as a single function. So this one is also a function. That's a example of function in real life. And if you have taken algebra and calculus, then you evaluated functions and you also try to graph functions and determine derivatives and integral of functions. Usually what you will do. And again, what is a function? Okay, and here we will make a precise definition of a functions, and this definition will allow us to study more about functions, especially the properties for that. And we have a lot of properties of functions. For example, when we have a functions in general, then maybe when we look at the inverse, how about the inverse? Is it a function? So in general, we don't have that. But for certain function, we also have the inverse is also a function. So what is the definition, the exact definition or the formal definition of a functions? First, we should have two sets. Here, we call it A and B. And a function from A to B is a relation. And here we use a symbol F from A to B. So when we have a relation, it is a subset of A cross B. Okay, once again. And plus one extra requirements for each A in A. A is a first coordinate of exactly 1. Okay, once again, exactly 1 element of F. So if we use some quantifier here, so we can rewrite it as for every A in A, that S is unique B in B such that A comma B in F. Then we call A as the domain of F and B is the codomain of F. To make it more clear, then we will see this example when we pick this A and this B, and then we define a relation F by this. So please look at it. We have 1, 2, and then 2, 2, and 3, 4, then 4, 1. When you look at the first coordinate, each of element of A appears exactly once. So what's the meaning? It is a function. And if we see the picture, if we try to draw a picture, and this is the set A, this is set B, then we try to draw some arrows. Then when F is a function, we have exactly one arrow from A to B. So there is no multiple arrows from here to here, but it is allowed to have multiple arrow from here to here. Okay, so from B to A is okay, but from A to B cannot be multiple arrow. And for next example, when we have this set A, we have 5 elements here, and B 3 elements, and we define a relation f by this. So is it a function? Of course no. Why? Because when we look at this, we see here we have okay, this one I have a comma 1 and then a comma 2. So A appears in the first coordinate twice. It's not only once. So that's the first reason. The second reason is when we look at that, A, B, C, D, where is E? So we don't have E here, okay? So E does not appear in the first coordinate. So that's the second reason why our f here is not a function. And if we draw the diagram, then we can see here clearly, and we have 2 arrows from A. That's not allowed. And one more, we don't have an arrow from E. So that's also not allowed. That's why we have f here is not a function. And next, this is the definition. If we have f from A to B be a function, usually we write like this: fa is equal to b, which means we map A to B. Okay, and in terms of relation, we also can write like this: a comma b in f. So what's the meaning? Because b is fa, we also can write a comma fa. So this one is a tuple here. And we have the second coordinate is the unique ordered pair having A as its first coordinate. And when we have fa is equal to b, then we say b is the image. So b is the image here. This one is image under the function f. So to make it more clear, if we see this example, we have our set A and our set B. This is our function, and we define this function, our f. 1 map to 5, 2 map to 6, 3 to 7, 4 to 8. Then we can see f1 is 5, f2 is 6, f3 is 7, and f4 is 8. Then we can say that 5 is the image of 1 under the function f. Okay, and we also can say, for example, this one, the image of 4 is 8. Okay, so should be clear. For the next example, we have this function, and we define from example 24.5. Then we have fa is equal to a plus 4. Then it is easier to describe here. So when we see like this, 1 and 5, 1 plus 4 is 5, 2 plus 4 6, 3 plus 4 is 7, 4 plus 4 is 8. So we have this criteria. Okay, so we also can rewrite f is like this. So this tuple a comma a plus 4. This is another way to write a function. So this one we make a list, and this one we try to see the requirements. And next example 24.7, we define this function x, we map to x squared for every real number x, and we see the image of 2 should be 4, right? Should be clear, because 2 square is equal to 4. And square root of 3, how? Square root of 3, we take the square, then we have it is equal to 3, and so on. And if we try to graph this one, and we will get this one, and this one is should be familiar to us from maybe junior high school. But please be careful. When we define a function f, it is important to verify. What we should verify? We should verify that for each element of A, the output of the formula is actually the element of B. So make sure if you have f from A to B, make sure your FA is in B, okay? So you have to make sure that. Because if FA is not in B, then it is not a function from A to B, okay? Next example. If we try to define a function f from R to Z with this formula, then yeah, it's clear here. But if we take Z, then it is not a function from here to here. Why? Because for example, if we take half in R, then the result is a quarter, then it is not in Z. So if f is not a function from R to Z, so you have to make sure that the result is belong to the codomain. Okay, for the next definition, if we have two functions f and g, we say that they are equal, so they are the same function if the domain are the same, and yeah, the codomain also. And if we try to write them as ordered pairs, then they are equal as sets. Okay, for example, if we have this set, we try to map x to x. So our function is from z to z. Another function, our g is from z to r. And let me see. We have exactly the same ordered pairs, but when we look at that, the codomain are different, so they are not the same function. So they have to be, yeah, they should have the same domain, same codomain, and they are equal as sets of ordered pairs. Okay, should be clear. For next example, if we define this function f from z to z, and we have this one to x plus 2, this one from z to z, and this one also from z to z, and another one is 2 times x plus 1. Is that equal? Yes, because if we look at the domain, they are the same, codomain also the same, and if we try to see the map here, yeah, they are the same, because we try to x, we bring to 2x plus 2, and 2x plus 2 is equal to 2 times x plus 1. So they are the same function. And yeah, this is the reason, should be very clear here. And in the beginning, we also discussed about tax. For the lower income, they get lower tax, middle income get higher, and the high income even higher again, the tax. And we can write them as a piecewise defined functions. So the clear motivation comes from mathematics. When we have a absolute value is a function, but yeah, again, we cannot write it as a single formula. We cannot write as one formula, so we have to write it as 2 parts. And if we look at this, absolute value fx is equal to x if x is non-negative, then it is equal to minus x if x is negative. And this is the example of a piecewise defined functions. And we have this theorem when we have two sets A and B. Then suppose that we have P and Q is a partitions. Remember what is a partition? Partitions, the easy way to see is when we have a set, then we try to make partition. Maybe we try to divide it into two parts. What's the condition that should be satisfied? First is they are not intersect, so the intersection is 0. No, it's empty set. Okay, and when we try to make the union, it will go back to the initial set. Then that's a partition. So for example, we have a P and Q. We make a partition of A with two parts. Then we make a function from P to B, then another function from Q to B. Then yeah, when we have this one is a function, H also a function, then our F, which is the union of G and H, also a function. And when we look at this, we have here P, Q, or should be capital Q, then okay, Q, then this one to B, okay, so our G bring here, our H here, then our F, this one our A, right? So we have this one B, and yeah, we have our F is a function from A to B. It should be clear, and the general rule should be like this. Then when we have these two, okay, but we also can make it more general, because yeah, maybe we can make a partition with n parts, so it can be more than two. Okay, and how to prove it? How to prove that it is a function again? And yeah, should be clear, because when we have our F is G union H, so we have our G is subset of P cross B, and then yeah, it's clear it is subset of A cross B, and then our Q cross B subset A cross B. So we have G union H, yeah, should be subset A cross B. That one should be clear. And every element of A should appears exactly once in the first coordinate. So there are two possibilities. The first possibility is our A is in P, then yeah, should be inside here, right? A comma something, then yeah, it appears once in A cross B. Very clear, because the intersection between G and H is empty set. Another possibility, when A is in Q, they are the same thing, so it is analogous. That's why we have our G union H is a function, so we have F is a function, because the property of partition here. If it is not a partition, then yeah, may not a function, and should be it is not a function. So we only use the property of partitions. So what is the example? For example, when I have our A here, and then I take this P, this Q, our A is here 1 2 3 4 5 6, okay, and yeah, take this B, we make a partition. Then yeah, for every element of P we define this G, and for every element of Q we define this H. And when we try to rewrite it in this notation, we use this notation from this remark, then we can rewrite it here. And as a collection, we have these ordered pairs. So if we try to draw the diagram, we will have this one, our P, 1 map to 3, 2 map to 2, 3 to 1, and then we also have 4 to 1, 5 to 2, 6 to 3. So it's clear we can see that it is a function. Why? Because every element of A has a something like in the codomain that we have exactly one arrow there. Okay. The example, if we see something like this, so what is wrong? Again, we should have a partitions. The problem here is when we have our R, this is our R, and this one is non-negative, this one is non-positive, then the intersection is not empty set. So 0 belong to where? That's why it is not a function. It's not a piecewise defined function. And please be careful when we try to state a function. We don't need to explicitly state the conditions given to define a piecewise defined function, because usually when we see a piecewise defined function, the condition here should be obvious to be a partition usually. But when we try to maybe see a problem, it is okay also to see whether it is a partition or not. And we go to next example. We can define this function. For example, this one, it's clear that this is a piecewise defined function. Why? Because when we see here, fx is equal to 3x plus 1, should be clear. This one is a function. It is a linear function. And this one also, it is a function. And we see x is odd. So what's the meaning? X in 2z. Okay. So should be a partition compared to no. Odd is not this one. This one is even. So really we have a partition. This one odd and this one even when we have this z. And remember again when we discuss about integer modulo n, this one is 0 mod 2, even 0 mod 2, then odd is 1 mod 2. Then clearly we have a partition because it is an equivalence relation. For the next example, what happens if we have more than 2 conditions? For example, this one has 3 conditions. That's also the same thing. If each of them defines a function, so this one function, this one, and the condition here defines a partitions. So this one from R to R. So as long as our R is partitions to 3 conditions, then the whole thing here, our f is a piecewise defined function. And it's clear it is a partition, and we look at it. When x is less than -1, we go to this case, and x is, if x is here, then we use this case, and the last one we use the last case also. And if we draw the diagram, then we have this diagram. And usually diagram like this is common, especially in economics. Okay. There is one piecewise defined function that is very popular. We call it a characteristic function. So what's the meaning of characteristic function here? We try to map a set into this set, 0 and 1. Okay, so if it is belong to S, then the characteristic is 1. Then if it is not belong to S, then the characteristic is 0. So it is like when we have this belong to S, all go to 1, not in S, then all go to 0. To make it easy, we also can see the characteristic function as a metal detector. And when you see some maybe movie with metal detector, if there is a metal, then it will beep. Okay, so beeps means the output is 1, and if it is silent, then the output is 0, something like that. And yeah, we also can see it as a characteristic functions. For example, when we have a is the set of real number, then we take this as, okay, so yeah, if it is in this interval, for close interval from 0 to 1, then the value is 1, otherwise the value is 0. So should be clear. And another thing is when we define our functions, usually, yeah, we define a function by a rules depend on our choice. For example, when we have a fraction, we have half, 2/4, 3/6, and so on. So which one we have to choose? Usually we choose this. We make a choice. But yeah, as we know, 1/2 is equal to 2/4, is equal to 3/6, is equal to 4/8, and so on. So which one we have to choose? Yeah, we have to make it clear. So how to make sure there is no ambiguity, or how to make sure that when we try to map one element to codomain, then the map is unique. That's the important thing. So for example, if we define this function from Z5 to Z5, and this is the definition. So we map a bar to a bar square. We make a choice, of course, okay? But usually, yeah, our choice is 0 bar, 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bar, 4 bar, okay? But whatever our choice, the result will be the same. For example, if we take 2 bar, okay, A is 2 bar, then A square is 4. But if we take maybe 2 is equal to 7, okay, so 7 bar square is 49. 49 bar is 4 bar. So they are the same thing. So this is a function. Why? Because yeah, it is not depend on our choice. It's not depend on the representative. That's why if we have if A bar equal to B bar, whatever A and B, so it can be very big or very small, then we will have A bar square equal to B bar square. So this is what we mean with well defined. Okay, whatever our choice, there is no ambiguity. So it is not depend on the choice of representative that we make. That's the main thing. And another example for not well defined. So we try to see this relation numerator function from Q to Z. So because the numerator of a rational number is an integer, that we see half and 2/4. So f half should be 1, but f 2/4 should be 2. So there is a ambiguity here because 1/2 and 2/4, it is the same number, but the map are different. Okay, so that's why, yeah, this one is not a well-defined function. Another example, we try to define this function from Z3 to Z. This is also not a well-defined function. Why? Because one more, we have 0 bar, 0, 1 bar, 1, and so on. And we know that here, so 0 bar is equal to 3 bar, 6 bar. And this one go to 0, this one go to 3, this one go to 6. But they are the same number. So yeah, that's why we say that this is not a well-defined function. So it must satisfy the uniqueness here. Okay. And another definition, we try to define this function f from A to B. And if the rule produces multiple images for a single element of A, then we say f is not a well-defined function. But if the rule for f produce a single image, then we say that f is a well-defined function. So that's the requirements. And when we have a rule, usually, yeah, it is unnecessary to check that it produces a well-defined function, because usually when you have a problem, usually, yeah, they really give you a function, so no need to check usually lah, that will happen. But one more, it is good to be aware with this kind of stuff. And usually the key indicator which determines whether you should check or not is that, yeah, can you write an element in the domain in different ways or not. So that's usually how to check if you can write here in different ways. So maybe, because again, based on our choices, so if the elements in the domain, we can choose the representative, yeah, it is natural to ask whether is this a well-defined function or not. And for example, yeah, when you try to follow or join a class, then the professor gives the final marks using this rule. You're using the first letter of the student's name. For example, if your name is Alicia, Aisha, or Andy, then you will get A. Or maybe if your name is Budi, Bambang, or whatever, you get B. And otherwise, if the first letter of your name is not in here, then you will get F. So really cruel, but it's okay. But yeah, how to react? Because as you see, for example, your name is Adam Smith, so you will check, okay, Adam, so A, okay. But what happen if your name is, maybe we try to reverse, Smith Adam, then is it S or A? Okay, so it's not clear. That's why yeah, he can get A or F, right? So this example is John Adams. So yeah, if we see John Adams, then will he get A or F? Because yeah, this J, this A. So this one is not clear. So it is not a well-defined function. And please be careful when you have a proposed rule for a function f and it doesn't produce a well-defined function, then yeah, we can say that it is not correct to say that the function f is not well defined, because yeah, our f is a function. So, and we also can say that the rule defining f does not produce a well-defined function, or the proposed function is not well defined. So we cannot say that f is a function. Okay, that's the key thing here, because when you see if it is a function, from A to B, then yeah, exactly one arrow always. But when it is not a well-defined, then what you have, it is not a function. So we cannot say this function is not well-defined. Okay, so we only have a relation. Okay, to make it clear, we have this relation. So this relation from Z6 to Z3 here, and yeah, we use this symbol, two symbol, because we have two equivalence classes, and we map here from Z6, Z3 to Z6. This class map to this class. This one also map to this class. And it should be clear from here our G is a function. Because whatever we have, when we take this from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, whatever the representative, when we take another bar, so we make the class, then it will appears as the first coordinate of the coordinate exactly once. So it should be clear G is a function. But imagine when you have f, then my 0 bar is equal to 3 bar, and if I use this map, then I will go my 0 bar, or here I have using this bracket, then we'll go to 0 bar and 3 bar, and they are not the same. So it's clear that G is a function, but f is not a function. Okay, so for the rest we can discuss them in the different videos. Okay, maybe that's all for these videos. Hopefully you can try to follow, and it will be useful. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.